All right, you've got a great idea and you want to get to one of those big companies, watch this video because we're going to show you exactly how to get in the front door. Okay, so getting into big companies, it's not easy, but we're going to give you tips and advice and strategies so you can do it too. And I have a special guest here, Dana Knowles. Dana, welcome back to InventRightTV.
Thank you, Stephen. It's always so much fun to be here with you. Well, not there with you, but here with you.
Well,
Yeah, it's
Dana,
been a while.
you do something really remarkable for our company at InventRight. You were a member years and years ago. I've known you for probably, I don't know how many years, but you've been a member and now you're part, excuse me, you're part of our program where you're reaching out to companies. It's called Gateway. I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, but you're reaching out to these really monster companies. And I know it's not easy to do that. I know it takes a special skill and like, I don't like it. So I want to talk a little bit about how are you doing it? Because you're my secret weapon doing this and you know you are. So first of all, how much time does it take?
It really just depends when you're reaching out to, and we're talking about larger companies where it's a web of people that you have to go through. So, reaching out to companies for me is I always get on the phone first. I
Okay.
want to try to talk to someone. Well, that doesn't always happen because those large companies, the gatekeeper doesn't necessarily always know which direction to point you in.
Okay.
So the reason that I always call companies is because many companies have a dial by name directory.
All right.
And that's like hitting gold when you can get a dial by name directly, dial by first name, last name.
Okay.
And then, if the gatekeeper cannot direct me to what department I need to go into, I might ask for product development or marketing manager or sales, but these monster companies, that usually does not work.
Okay.
They're too big.
All right. So you've got to be patient. That it's going to take some time and you've got to
Time.
navigate it and everything else because it's not going to just be like you're going to pick up the phone and get the right person right away.
Mm-mm.
Is
No,
that true?
no, that is very true. After I always call the company first. That's just
Okay.
standard. And one of the reasons I always call the company first is because that's probably the thing I dislike the most. Right? Don't we all pick up? That's the biggest stumbling block I think of any inventor in our membership is picking up the phone. But many times, and this has happened, where you get somebody on the other end of the phone and they're super duper nice and they really want to help you and they're trying to guide you. And I can share numerous stories about how a gatekeeper guided me to the right person that they weren't sure if it was the right person, and maybe that wasn't the right person, but that person guided me to that person and that person guided me to that person. And I have like dozens of stories of how I get into these massive companies.
So you better be kind to the gatekeeper and
Always.
okay, there's another tip, you guys. That
Always.
gatekeeper, sometimes we want to rush past that person, but that person's really important.
No.
Okay.
Always be very kind. How are you doing? Thank them by name, call them by name. I explain in, gosh, I'm going to say this kind of like a lot of times they don't know what I'm asking.
Okay.
So I dummy it down to talking to somebody that has no idea what I'm saying. Because if I start using all that lingo and language that we use in licensing and product development, they're going to be like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
So Dana, if I do have a name of someone that's in a department, because I know each department does, well, it's different for every company too, right? That's the problem here.
Yeah.
But let's say I go on LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
and I find the company and I get the list of employees and I realize I want to reach out to someone in sales. Do you use that name when you call if you want to get someone in sales?
Yes, I do. And I do it in a very I don't ask if I can talk to that person. I will, like, say I was calling InventRight and somebody answered the phone. I would say, Stephen Key, please.
Oh. So you act like you know what you're doing.
I act like you're expecting my call.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying it, but I'm acting like I'm supposed to be there. You're expecting my call.
Got it.
And sometimes they can transfer me and sometimes they can't. More than likely, 99% of the time I am going to get a voicemail. And
All right. Okay. All right. No one's picking up the phone anymore, so you can expect to leave a message. Do you leave a message or just call back?
absolutely. Every time,
Oh, you
every
do.
single time I leave, and I have a script. Well, I know my script off by heart, but I would
Okay.
suggest anybody doing this for the first time, you have a script and you stick to the script,
Okay.
because the last thing you want to do is leave a 2-minute voicemail. It should be 30 seconds, get right to the point, who I am. And
Okay.
something I always do is I always give my number, tell my name, my telephone number at the beginning of the voicemail, and then I do it again at the end of the voicemail. So if they didn't get it, they don't have to listen through the whole voicemail to get my name and number.
Smart. So you're calling these big guys. It takes patience. You're making friends with the gatekeeper. You're leaving the right short message. Do they call you back?
Yeah, they do. They don't know, not 100% of the time. Absolutely not. But you know what? More often than not, they do call me back.
All right. If they don't, what do you do then?
I will usually, when I leave a voicemail, if I have gotten to the right person and I do know that they're on LinkedIn, I will go, as soon as I leave the voicemail, I'll go right to LinkedIn. I will connect with a note. I just left you a voicemail, briefly tell them what the voicemail was about. And that'll work too. This isn't 100%. This is never 100% correct. You know what? You call me your secret weapon. Believe me, Stephen, I can't get into every company, but man, I'm going to die trying.
You guys, yes, she can. And I'll tell you,
Yeah.
I'm amazed at the people she can get into. And it takes practice, doesn't it, Dana? I mean, you just didn't get there overnight to be able to do this so well.
No. I've been in the licensing. Well, I joined InventRight as a member, 2017, spring of 2017.
Okay.
I had 5 connections on my LinkedIn page. I mean, I have 6,500 or something now, something like that. I was scared to death to pick up the phone, but my dream of wanting to get my idea out there was larger than my fear. And I couldn't figure out, what I was so scared of. And it's just fear that I think stops people.
But I remember when you were doing that, you were having trouble getting into companies. You got a little frustrated too.
Yeah, I did. I got frustrated. I got frustrated with getting in, and I got frustrated when I did get in, and then they said no. There was a time I wanted to quit. Oh yeah, we talk about that quite often. Because it's a great story. Well, you know what really quickly, I'll tell you about the story about me wanting to quit. Yeah. And Paul Sorensen, our negotiations coach, who's a coach in the program, the project manager at Gateway, he must have had a conversation with you, because out of the blue, or not out of the blue, you called me, said, hey, what's going on? You're struggling. I hear you're struggling. I said, yeah, man, I want to quit. Like, rejection sucks, man, when they, and just the mere fact that you took time out of your day to call me and kind of talk me off the ledge and get me back on the horse. Yeah. Well, it made all the difference.
Yeah, I do remember that too, because I think all of us at one time want to jump off and go, hey, I'm done with this. Because Dana, I think this is the hardest part of all of it. I think making connections with the right companies and the right people with the right marketing material that's fast, everything that they need to see, that takes some skill and time to really be good at that. I think sometimes we kind of make it sound really easy. In theory, it is. You pick up the phone, you call somebody, but it does take some skill to navigate and be confident enough that they do want to work with you, because they know that they know that you know what you're doing, so they can bring you in.
That's a big thing that I believe, that I've been in the business long enough, and not necessarily that you have to be in the business long enough, but at InventRight, you taught me what to say and how to say it. And I knew what I was talking about because I had the education. And I've heard over and over again from companies that We want innovation. We need innovation, but we do not want to deal with inventors who don't know how it all works. So when we come in pitching our idea to a company, saying all the right things, using all the language and the lingo and the, having reasonable expectations of how long something is going to take, then companies sense that. They can sense a newbie right off the bat. And companies don't want to teach us how this works. They want to work with somebody that's easy to work with and understands it. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have time to do that.
No.
Everyone, because of how difficult this is, we created a program. Dana was talking about this and actually driving me crazy with this. Said, Steve, we got to do more here. We're good at this. Why don't we start reaching out to companies and building those relationships? Because we're a company now and they know who we are and we've got a great track record. We need to do that because people are struggling with this. So we created this program called Gateway. James is going to put some information down below and up on the screen that you can see what it is. But basically, we do all the work for you. We make sure your marketing material is spot on. We make sure it's communicates clearly and quickly the benefit of your idea. We help you make sure if you've got some IP issues, we'll talk to you about that to make sure you're protected correctly. But we're going to make sure we're going to find the right companies for you. And we're going to work with you to make that list, but reach out to those companies because we can get to the right people that can make those decisions for you to speed this thing up. Now, Dana, this is what we do at Gateway. I think we're really good at this. Now, you've gotten into some really big companies here. And because I know that sometimes I cannot get to these guys and because it's just hard. And maybe I give up too early, or maybe I'm just too old. I don't want to do it anymore. But you can. Let's talk about some of the companies you just got into because I'm really impressed with this list.
I'm impressed with this list too because I feel like sometimes I'm in Vegas and like I want to go for the shark. Like yeah, little companies, medium companies, but man, when I can get a shark and I'm talking to the guy at one of these huge companies, there is no better high for an inventor than that. We've talked about that. So some of these companies you're going to recognize and some of them you're not. And the reason is because a lot of these companies have 20 brands and the brands we recognize, but the parent company is the one that we really need to get into. So I have this kind of pulled up. So Fortune Brands Innovation has 21 brands. Now you might recognize Moen or Masterlock. Those are two of their brands and they have a lot more.
Those are big. Those are major players.
That was from, this is how I got into that company. I talked to a gatekeeper and I told her why I was calling. She told me, well, I think you want to reach out to this person or this person.
All right.
So I found those two people. I sent them a LinkedIn message.
Okay.
And yesterday afternoon, I got a call from the guy and had a 20-minute conversation with him about we're absolutely open. This is what we require. I mean, got his name, got his number, got his cell phone number. I mean, it's like when they give you their cell phone number, I'm like, wow, that's cool. I got he's like, text me anytime. Yeah, it's crazy.
Let me tell you how difficult this is. She makes it sound really easy here, but we have a good friend of mine that wants to get into this really big company, and he's been trying everything, Dana. He's been calling, he's trying to make appointments, and the guy's really a smart guy. No one's responding to him, so he actually went there in person. He's from New York, went to Boston, knocked on the door, and they said, look, you cannot get in without an appointment. And he was trying everything. He realized, Steve, I can't do this. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm doing not to get those people to respond to me. So you're right. It takes some soft skills, doesn't it, Dana, a little bit of talking to people? And
yeah. And I guess I do have the skill of, I'm a people person. I'm not a paper pusher. I'm not an Excel spreadsheet girl. I'm a people person. I can talk, but especially it's good when I know what I'm talking about. But you taught me everything I know. InventRight is not, I mean, you and Steven and the whole team, you taught me everything I know. And then I just had to go out and practice the skill until I got good at it. But can I share some more of the companies?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Big company, Stanley Black and Decker, 26 brands, DeWalt, Craftsman, Lennox. I mean, this company, I have a direct line to the person in this company that told me exactly, boom, 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 boom. If you need anything, reach out to me. I mean, that's the whole thing about getting in with Gateway is we're not just going to say, oh yeah, this company's open. Here you go. Here's an email. We're going to make sure that we have talked to somebody and we have a relationship with them and they want to work with us continuously.
Wait,
TTI,
just a
I'm
minute.
sorry.
You guys, let me tell you how hard it is. I don't know if you can get to those guys. I've had so many people talk to me to try to get to those companies. They can't get in. So you're doing something right, Dana. So, all right, go. All right,
Okay,
give us
so
some more of these companies.
TTI is
Oh,
Tectronic Industries company. You have a connection there. I have a connection there. We kind of both. I found one on my own. You got one. It's two.
they're big.
It was the same person actually.
Yeah,
So we
they're
know they're open when they're talking to you and they're talking to me and they're saying they're open and he's the guy.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's a really big company and they don't really have a policy. And I'm in at the very top. And I met him because I was on a panel
Mm-hmm.
back in Dallas, and that's how I met him. He was following. He follows our stuff actually, which I was a little surprised. But that was if I didn't have a relationship with him, that would not happen.
Yeah.
So guys,
Yeah.
sometimes it's who you know, and I hate. I used to think, God, I hate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is. Sometimes it's who you know that can open those doors a little bit faster for you. All right, Dana, who else you got there?
Let's see here. So, Great Start Tool. I don't know. A lot of people might not know these brands. Great Start Tool has 9 different brands. Shopvac,
Yeah.
Work Pro. Let's see. Bosch has 12 different brands. Dremel is one of their. These are all in the tool industry. So in the car accessories, Dorman. If anybody knows Dorman accessories.
Yeah.
They're in every AutoZone, they're all over the place. I tried to, you said to me, Steven says to me, grab some companies out of our list of over 300 companies right now. And we're building that list. And you know what, that was really difficult for me to do. So I just kind of went in and grabbed some of the bigger ones that people would know. Energizer Holdings, 18 brands, Rayovac, Armor All, Schick, Playtex. Those we're in fact, and this is something too that I do, like when I'm reaching out to somebody or I want to contact somebody, I'm gonna I don't want to say stalk the guy or girl, I'm not going to do that, but I'm just going to read as much as I can about them.
Okay.
And this particular person at Rayovac or Energizer Holdings, I'm sorry, he was from Barbados and I lived in Barbados for a while. So I was able to, I had like a 40-minute conversation with him and 20 minutes of it was about Barbados, So sometimes I do that kind of stuff. I can't do that with everybody, but anything that I get an edge, anything that I can get an edge. Camco, if anybody's in the RV space, the outdoor marine, Camco, we have a great relationship with them over there. And then there's another company called, and people don't know this, it's called 360 Group. And they have Sharper Image, FAO Schwartz.
Okay.
And then of course, toy companies, Mattel, Wham-O, and a slew of other companies in the toy industry. So these are some of the bigger companies, but we have a lot of, and these are like the monster companies. These are the sharks of the industries, but we have over 300 and maybe we've got 350 connections.
I think we're getting close. Well, with the last batch that's coming in,
I
think we're getting close to 400 and we're growing.
Yeah.
You have to realize we've got a team now at InventRight in the Gateway program where all they're doing is calling companies for you. That's all they do. They're building relationships, getting to the right people at the right company. And we're telling them about InventRight and the products they're going to see. And that's why those doors are opening. And we're telling them we're going to vet them. We're going to make sure they're a good fit. So we're not going to waste their time and money with some of the stuff they're already seeing. So those doors are really opening for us. Right. Now, also, I want to say this Gateway program, if you're interested and if you're having problems navigating this world and you need help, please contact us. And we'll see if we can help you do that, because I'll tell you, it's not easy. I don't like it. Dana, someone asked me the other day, Steve, you're still contacting companies, right? I said, well, yeah. I said, I started when I was 18 years old doing door to door. And they said, well, I bet you're pretty good at it. I go, well, I think I'm okay, but I can tell you, I still don't like it because it's hard work. And I'll tell you, That's exactly what it is. And maybe I'm just too old, Dana. It's just, it's
No,
awful. And you guys
no,
do a
but
good job.
I,
Yeah.
I always say, so a lot of times, because I talk to people on the phone all the time about gateway, premium, whatever, they're inventing whatever it is. And a lot of times when people reach out, they'll say, well, I've been reaching out to companies, but I'm not getting any response. And I'm like, okay, well, how many companies are you reaching out to? Well, I reached out to 4. Well, how many people are you reaching out to? I reached out to 3 people. It is not uncommon for a larger company or even a medium-sized company for me to leave 30 voicemails or reach out to 50 people on LinkedIn or Facebook or however,
Yeah,
or go
see,
to trade shows, of course. That's always a
yeah, I
fun
think, Dana,
thing.
I think people are worried, am I doing it the right way? They're not getting back to me. Am I saying the right thing? They're not getting back to me.
Yeah.
And they're doing something, because sometimes they are not doing the right thing, and they can tell that
Right.
someone's maybe a little new at this, and
Right.
that's not my job to bring you
Right.
in and train you. So it's
Right.
not easy to do. Even though we have LinkedIn, they're all there, but
For
man,
the
they
most
don't all
part.
connect with you either.
Yeah. I always say that, and for anybody, and sometimes people are shocked at this, and I say the very first 2 sentences that you say to somebody in a LinkedIn voicemail, email is going to make or break if they're going to respond.
Okay. All
It
right.
will,
All right.
because they can just tell. I found something that was interesting that just happened to me. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm probably going long-winded, but this is really cool. I call a company. They said, yeah, we're open, but it's a submission portal. Well, in Gateway, we don't settle for it. They just have a submission portal. Now, some companies are like that. There's no way you can get around it. But so then we try to find the person who looks at the submission portal. And a lot of times they do things through a submission portal because you have to click an agreement. They do it for legal purposes to save their own, to protect them. It's not that they're trying to make it difficult. So we have found the person who actually is on the team that looks at the submission. So at least we have somebody we can follow up with
I
if they
like
don't
that.
respond. But
Yeah.
this particular company, and I said, I would, they said, we're open submission. This is a submission email, a generic, blah, 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 submissions.com. And see, the thing is, we don't just take that and say, oh, okay, well, they don't, that's all they do. So I got on to LinkedIn and I found, I don't know, probably LinkedIn messaged 25, 30 people. And the one guy got back and said the submission portal. And I said, well, can I have a connection? No, you can. No, no, no. Well, the next day, the CEO of the company LinkedIn messaged me and said, these are the 2 people you want to reach out to. Here's their name. Here's their emails. So now what's so cool is when I email those 2 people, the CEO of the company told me to email them. So I get to say, the CEO's name referred me to you. Do you know how fast they respond when the CEO is in that subject matter?
Yeah.
Now, I would never, ever, ever do that unless he did. And I'm into that company now. What's nice is I explained a little bit about what our client's product is, and they said we are definitely open, but we are not open in that category. And sometimes that'll happen. See, we're also doing the research for our clients to see what companies are open and aren't open, and maybe they're open, but they don't want to look at that particular product idea. And we give thorough reports to the clients of what we found and how many companies we researched, and it's pretty. That program is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. All right, everybody. Dana, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for helping all of us get to these big companies, because it's not easy. And thank you for doing all the hard work for us. You guys,
But when
if
you
you want
get
to know,
in, it's great. There's nothing like it.
you guys, if you want more information about Gateway, there's information down below. Please give us a call. Let's talk about it. We can get into anybody, because I have a secret weapon. Her name is Dana Knowles. Thank you, Dana. And I'll see you next time at InventRight TV.
See you later.